Folks, welcome back. 2022, end of the world. Rudy here to tell you. Comb my hair. Shoved my hair in toilet water because I wanted to look slick. Today we're talking about a reserve list buyout. In 2022, I know. In 2022, we're talking about reserve list buyout. Today, the world's famous Argivian archaeologist. No, not Argithian, not Argivian. Not the archaeologist, folks, has been bought out. Now, I'm going to talk about my history with this card. And I believe right now a new rising style of buyouts appears to be some sort of private groups where they get together. I've heard multiple different variances. Apparently, there are now groups of individuals who either A, have like a membership fee, or they pool money, or they all do something and they're splitting the winnings, or however. There's different setups for different groups. But I can tell you, this sucker, the archaeologist, was attacked. I'm talking Chuck Norris flew down, and he had the newest design of the washer and dryer. I mean, brand new technology, and he nuked the market. TCG Player, eBay, all these big stores. The archaeologist was averaging, I'd say on the low side, maybe 100 if it's in bad condition, maybe high side, maybe 250 for minty. So as of the filming this video, archaeologist is sitting around $500. So, substantial sold listings in the last 30 days. And yeah, this is happening in the middle of 2022, where the consensus, according to all the smart people online, is that the world is ending and everything's going to zero. So if the world's ending and everything's going to zero, what kind of group of individuals, or really fancy Optimus Prime, Power Ranger, Transformer, so that's where we're at. Kind of been thinking about this the last few days before I filmed this video. And I've come to either a couple conclusions. One, it's an individual or a group of individuals who always wanted the card and loved the card and have a passion for the card, similar to how I have a passion, obsession with these cards and Four Horsemen era cards. And simply put, they're not looking to flip them and make a quick bunch of money. More so, they're kind of going down the list and targeting certain cards that they just feel are desirable, and they still feel are relatively cheap. And the archaeologist, for $100 to $200 a card, and it's been that price for years upon years, well, it's still a pretty good buy of a card. It's a reserve list, iconic piece of art, iconic card, and I always thought it was underplayed and underappreciated. That's why it's always been one of Rudy's top all-time favorite cards. Yes, personal disclosure, I do own a very substantial position in the archaeologist. I don't know the exact copy off the top of my head, but I would say between, I don't know, a couple hundred copies, not including graded copies. And I love the card. Started buying the archaeologist many, many years ago when it was about $20 to $30 a card. And I've been buying it all the way to probably about 100 to 150. And haven't bought any recently, besides maybe like a big collection purchase, and there was maybe one or two in the collection. But as far as targeting specific cards, haven't really done anything like that in a very, very long time. So, moving forward, what do I think is going to happen? If this is a card you want, if this is a card you've been wanting to get a piece of, what do you do? Well, in my personal opinion, I would do nothing at all. Similar, it seems to be the theme of 2022 is when you see all these crazy shit and all these big swings happening, I would do nothing at all. Because until we find out what these individuals' plans are and what's going to happen, and at a $500 price point, everybody who's ever owned that card is up a lot of money. Even if you have a playset of 4 and you paid $100 a piece, and they're minty, and you can sell them for $500 a piece, a playset for $2,000 when your cost basis is around $300 to $500, that's a 3 to 4x, ladies and gentlemen, or just call it 3x if you want to take fees and shipping out. So that's big. That's in a market where people need capital and people think the world's ending and everything's on sale. That's going to be very attractive. So I would expect on the surface for a lot of these to come to market to see if the buyers will actually pay the $400 or $500 price point for the card. Now, in my opinion, I actually think the market's going to reject it. I think, and it has nothing to do with the card, nothing to do with the person or the group or whoever's behind it. I actually believe it's going to get rejected because the macro market conditions. Overall, I mean, look, I have more videos coming. We've got a lot of magic videos and market videos coming up here in the next 30 days, and we'll see how the world unfolds. But the market is just too weak. Too many people are looking to raise capital. I'm involved with a lot of behind-the-scenes transactions. I mean, I have all kinds of flesh and blood, cold foil collections coming my way, all kinds of magic reserve list collections. I probably about 15, 16 pending transactions, communications, and everything back and forth between Magic and Flesh and Blood singles, sealed boxes in Magic, even actually 1 or 2 collections with actually sealed Pokemon boxes that are older. And the market is turbulent. Cash is more attractive right now than holding on to assets because people are negative. They feel it's going to go lower, and many people want to time the market, and many people want to jump out and say, well, I'll just buy it back when it's cheaper. There's a lot of that going on. So now when we go back to the old Archaeologist, one of my favorite cards ever, very biased on this card. I always told you guys many years ago in the buyouts of 2017, 2018, I thought the Archaeologist could easily be a $500 to $1,000 card. Now it's at $500. Will the market accept it? I don't think the market's going to be able to accept it, even if it wants to, because the conditions on the macro scale are too rough. They're just too rough, folks. There's nothing right now that can support higher prices and then buy lists to be raised to justify it and solidify the higher price, and then regular people to step up and pay those. Regular people aren't stepping up and spending. Buy lists are going down, not up. That's my concern. Okay? That's where the market is right now. I just want to share my quick thoughts on the Archaeologist. Again, if you don't have the card and you want it, I'd wait 30, 60, 90 days to see if these individuals who bought a ton of them are going to need to raise capital and put them back to the market, or is it going to hold? I would kind of wait. I don't think there's any fear of FOMO because I don't think it can go higher in this market. So, I mean, 500 is already a substantial price point from the previous 1 to 2 to 250 range, depending on conditions. So, just want to give everybody an update. Again, long term, I still stand by it, as you'll see in more collection videos coming up here in the next 30 days. These things are museum quality cards. Four Horsemen ABU Magic era, these things are going to be extinct on the open market. And over the next 5, 10, 20 years, LGSs and people around the country, world events, and all these Magic events and fests and stores, I don't expect the average LGS in the future to even have any of these. I expect as we continue to march in the future, these cards will become more and more extinct. They just won't be on the open market. A bunch of creepy assholes and evil investors like me and my ex and the old repairman, they're going to keep buying them because they love them. They're obsessed with them. I have probably the biggest obsession of anybody because I'm just obsessed with the stupid thing. I don't care about the price. I don't sell them. I don't want to take 200 copies of the Archaeologist and sell them at 500 and make I just don't care. I want the card. It's an obsession, probably an unhealthy one. And I do believe as we march forward, this ABU Four Horsemen stuff is going to be done. That's it. It's just going to be fucking done. You're not going to see it. Even if you go to big events with 20 vendors, you may see a few vendors, 1 or 2 cards, but the days of seeing like vendors at events and shows and LGSs that have play sets of every Antiquities card in display case, play sets of every Arabian, 20, 30, 40, 50 pieces of power, I just don't think that's going to be the case into the future. And that is the biggest concern of all long term. We'll see what happens. Hope you all learned something today. As always, beautiful world out there.